Hello everyone and welcome back to this brand new video. For today we're going to be testing one of my favorite strategies, which is Flash, and specifically Simic Flash. Now why am I excited to play this archetype again? One answer to that, and actually that's two words: Lofty Denial. Lofty Denial is one of the cards that I really like from this new set. You saw yesterday how good that card is, and hopefully I'm going to get to showcase that to you today. Now how am I taking advantage of Lofty Denial? We're using Spectral Sailor, which is our premium turn 1 drop, and Shark Typhoon, which both turn on Lofty Denial. We also have Brazen Borrower. So I think most of the time this is just going to be a better mana leak. So like mana leak is usually a counter target spell unless opponent plays 3. This is going to be consistently counter target spell unless opponent plays 4, hopefully. Now what else am I excited about from Core Set 2021? Rewind. Why am I excited about Rewind? That's a very good question. Worst case scenario, it's a 4 mana counter spell, but best case scenario, you have so many things to do with it. You can rewind into Frilled Mystic, you can rewind into Nightpack Ambusher, and even worst case scenario, you can rewind into draw 1 with Spectral Sailor, so this becomes a maybe overpriced cryptic command, but I think it's fine. And you can also rewind into Ice Cry and step with Castle Vanquish, so that's something super cool. Besides that, we're running Growth Spiral so we don't fall behind on mana wise. Negate, because Ram Dax and Ugin have been very annoying, so I think including Negate main board is not a bad idea. Borrower to deal with Reclamation in case your opponent plays it on turn 4 and you need to deal with it some way. Dispute is just a necessity for this meta because of how much blue is based on, like how much the mana is based on blue. The meta is based on blue, so Dispute is good to take care of a lot of things. And obviously Nightpack Ambusher because it's a very good threat, and again Shark Typhoon because I told you it's very good with Lofty Denial. Sideboard wise, I'm still not sure if this is the optimal sideboard, but I went with 1 Grafdigger's Cage against Graveyard decks, 2 Aether Gust against Uru and the Teamer or like Sultai Ramp. You can just play that against Disdainful Stroke against mainly Sultai Ramp with their Casualties of War and Ugin. I'm trying to stop Ugin somehow, and I think this is the best card that does it. It's simply just 2 mana hard counter Ugin. This is against also any creature decks that might be a problem. Mono Red is running around, and this is maybe a way to stop it. Wilt is here against Reclamation, obviously. Dispute is just an additional card so we can have 4 in the sideboard. Lovestruck Beast is here against aggressive decks because it makes 2 blockers, which is very good. And Commence the Endgame is here against your Reclamation Mirrors, where like you're passing, your opponent's passing, you're not doing anything. And step 6 mana, draw 2. Make a threat. It's very good. Sure, that threat can be bounced by Brazen Borrower, but you still drew 2 cards and you force Borrower activation from his hand, so it's not bad. Sideboard will definitely change when the meta is updated. Maybe I won't play that many Temples of Mystery if I think the meta is too fast. But besides that, that's gonna be pretty much it for this DeckTech. Please do tell me if you like this layout more, like instead of the usual one I usually have. And besides that, before we get into our games, I would like to ask you to please subscribe because it helps the channel a lot. And with that, let's get into our games. Going into our first game of Simic Flash, I'm very excited to see what this deck is going to do. It's one of my favorite strategies, and hopefully after you watch this video, it's going to be your favorite strategy as well. Alright, so opponent thinking very clearly of which player should play first, because you know, you always want to go second in standard, right? Yeah, not exactly. Now, why do people want to go second? Some strategies do involve going second, and the biggest example I could give is sometimes in Legacy, because I don't know if you play Legacy, so I'm gonna try to make it as brief as possible. As understandable as possible. But in Legacy, there's a card called Force of Will, which says that instead of playing this card, it's a 5 mana counter spell. Instead of paying for its cost, you could we're gonna keep this hand. You can't just exile 1 blue card from your hand, pay 1 life, and then counter a spell for free. Now, why does that entail you or encourages you to go second? Because now, if you go second, you are more likely to draw another blue source for the future Force of Will. That's not obviously the best way to play the game, but it's a strategy, so I thought I might as well give it to you or tell you about it. Temple of Mystery is very good currently because we can just play Temple of Mystery turn 1. Then next turn we can untap, play an island, Growth Spiral, draw into another. If we draw into another green source, we can Growth Spiral into Castle Vanquish, play our Sailor, and we're very ahead at that stage. Now, I'm really digging for a land so I can make sure that I can play Frilled Mystic on turn 4 as soon as possible, because this card is very good against this kind of strategy. Because not only is it a counter spell, it's also a threat that keeps on dealing damage and they have to deal with it. So currently our hand doesn't give us another beautiful green source, so I don't think so until this stage I think I'm gonna grow spiral into temple, but if our hand changes in any way, we might just go for the line of playing spectral sailor on turn 2. On turn, I mean, yeah, it's technically my turn too, so yeah. Alright, so opponent playing probably Temur Elementals. I mean, this is the only this is the only red deck that plays Yorion, so I'm assuming this is an elemental deck. Or it could, I don't think your Reclamation deck would play Yorion just because it kind of gives you less consistency because you're not going to draw your Reclamation as much. So I highly think it's some kind of elemental ramp deck. I really believe that. So let's see, still no green source, but I mean turn 3 Film Mystic is still just as good. So Risen Reef, yeah, exactly what I told you. It's a kind of, alright, so we get our Dispute. I think just disputing this is way better than whatever I had in mind. Yes, sure, playing this on turn 4 is good, but I mean stopping his plan of ramping is way better. And we do draw into our green source. This hand couldn't have like turned out any better. So now we have a hard counter or Full Mystic in case he plays anything that's annoying. So hopefully he's not playing a Dispute in case he plays another Risen Reef. If he is playing Dispute, I mean, I think I'm very sad about that. Do we let this resolve because maybe if he has a Dispute, and then do we start applying pressure with Nightpack? I think we start applying pressure with Nightpack. Let's just let him resolve this. Because if he has a Dispute, I kind of did nothing for a full turn, and that's not something I'm happy about. So let's just apply some pressure with Nightpack Ambusher and then just go from there. Kind of want him to go for a huge play, and then I can just counter whatever huge play he goes for. So Nightpack Ambusher resolves. We're gonna play our Temple, and we're gonna keep definitely another Film Mystic on top. Could have played the land so I can play Sailor and draw a card, but I think we're probably gonna counter whatever he plays anyways. So he's gonna take 4, we're gonna get to create a 3/3, and we now start to apply pressure, which is something elemental decks usually don't handle very well, pressure. Because like they're kind of not playing a lot of things up until they play something huge like Omnath. I think, I'm not sure. I think thing is if he has Dispute, this gets countered anyway, so I think we try to counter this Omnath. He has the Dispute, doesn't he? They always have it. They literally always have it. He doesn't have the Dispute, alright. That he is very good to counter. Opponent did nothing for a full turn, and now he's facing 10 damage. Alright. I mean, if I was in a good position before, I'm in even better position now. Because we have counter spell plus bounce spell. So opponent, do you block? Because like I kind of think you're in a position that forces you to block. Opponent, alright. So opponent still does not block. He's down to 4, meaning that any of my creatures are lethal, and that feels good. I mean, we could even flash and borrow end step, and then we have a Sailor. I don't think I'm gonna counter that because it doesn't really bother me. I mean, it's not gonna do anything that stops me from killing him. We still have 2 creatures. He still have 4 creatures, and he has 2 blockers. So why did I let this resolve? I'd rather counter something that is going to stop me from winning. I think what's that? We have bounce spell into. Actually, I think we just counter. I could have bounced and then played borrower and then played Sailor, but I think we just go for this. Yep, and that's a good game. That's a good game. So going into our sideboard, we're probably gonna be bringing in our Aether Gusts. We're probably gonna be bringing in our Disputes. I don't really like negate against them, and Lofty Denial is not something that I'm really a fan of because they have so much mana since they ramp. But I mean, do we have anything better to bring in? Not really. So I think we keep our Lofty Denial, or we could just play a Stroke because it counters Omnath or any big payoff they have. That doesn't sound that bad. So Dispute, Lofty Denial, Stroke, Aether Gust. I think that's a good enough plan. I mean, why did I not play the Giant or like the Beast? Because I don't think I want to be in that kind of play pattern. It's simply not worth it. If they go turn 2, make a 0/3, they can just simply keep on blocking our 1/1, and our Beast can be just unblocked by all of the value they get as an elemental deck. So that's not something you would want to go for. Hopefully opponent doesn't ramp too fast next game, because like maybe they're playing Ugin. I think just your biggest payoff as a ramp deck currently is Ugin, because 1 is very easy color wise, and then 2 it's simply just as good to hardcast most of the time. It's not that hard, to hardcast most of the time. 7 mana is not an issue with most decks. And usually it's just a board wipe on its own. Like if your opponent's playing control, you only get to resolve one Ugin, you board wipe all of their field, you deal with their Uro, their Teferi, their Nissa. That's simply just enough for you to win the game. So let's see what's going on. Opponent is obviously going to choose second because again, in standard you like to go second, right? Not really. We have Ambusher Rewind just in case we draw our green source. So I think we keep. I really think we keep, even though this hand is kind of slow, but I mean, can't wish for much better than Spiral on turn 2, can I? Sub McKinnon is one of my favorite artists, by the way. Like, I really, really love his art. So let's see what is going to happen. Now, if you don't know or if you haven't seen the card, Stasis was drawn by Sub McKinnon, and I highly recommend you look at it. It's such a beautiful card. It's probably one of my favorite Sub McKinnon arts just because it's simply so good, and I have it as a playmat. Alright, so double gross power feels very good in case opponent doesn't do anything crazy now. So hopefully opponent doesn't do anything crazy now again. Spiral turn 2 feels good, but it tells me that opponent is afraid of a dispute. So we're just gonna go for a forest. And hopefully Risen Reef is not a thing we're gonna have to deal with next turn. Let's see, please get me into my other green source. I mean, yes, I love Sub McKinnon and I love his art, but I don't want 3 gross spiral. I would rather just draw a land at this stage. And I've never expected to say this in my Magic career, but yes, I want a land. Please. If he goes for Reef, I think I just let it happen. That's weird, it doesn't do anything. So I just play our gross spiral. Does it get disputed, opponent? It gets disputed. That's a very sad life we're living in. Yeah, I think we just pass. If opponent is afraid of a dispute, I think we'll just let him stay afraid of a dispute. Alright, so is this a... I get Yorion into my hand turn? Or what is this? Is this I play a big threat turn? There's a lot of options currently with 5 mana, me being down to just 3 mana. Opponent doesn't do anything. Please don't dispute my other gross spiral opponent. Please don't be annoying. Please no dispute. No dispute. Yes, we draw into our green source, so we have Rewind into Nightpack Ambusher or Rewind into Shark Typhoon, and that just simply feels super good. Do I gross spiral again? It highly depends on what I think my opponent is going to do. So opponent, what do you do? Alright, opponent has paused for a while. Is there anything I'm afraid of really? I don't think so. Maybe he plays his own Nightpack Ambusher, but I think I'm fine with that. And we just ramp again into a bunch of lands. Okay, now I can start drawing lands. Spectral Sailor into Rewind into Spectral Sailor feels super good, really, even better than Rewind into Nightpack Ambusher. So I'm very happy about the last couple of draws. Opponent doesn't do anything, so like we're currently set on all stages because like opponent doesn't counter our gross spirals, so I don't think he has a mystical dispute. At least I'd assume that. And we have now a lot of pressure. We have our Ambusher and we have our Sailor, so we could just strike our Shark Typhoon. But I think I start trying to apply pressure with like creatures, so that's why I'm gonna go with Nightpack Ambusher and Sailor. Alright, so opponent plays a Triumph, so I don't have to worry about casualties. Not casualties of war, I mean the... What was the card? Why did I forget it? It's the Commence the Endgame. Alright, so Nightpack Ambusher resolves. Sailor, do you resolve? Does it get bounced? Or does it get gusted? Opponent, is that what you're considering? It doesn't get gusted or countered, so I mean, it feels weird. Does this get gusted? Alright, it gets bounced with Borrow, which is fine with me really, because he didn't do anything. Now we have Dispute to protect it. I feel very good about the last couple of turns. So we have also Rewind, Protect with Dispute, and that's also good. So let's see what opponent does. Let's see, he used 1 Dispute currently. Alright, so he just used 1 Dispute, so I feel good. We're gonna Rewind, try to force him to use his Dispute. He doesn't have the Dispute. I feel very good about this turn. Because we have now an Ambusher into Dispute, which is simply enough to just run away with the game. Opponent, what do you do? Show me what you got, opponent. Grazer is completely fine. I don't think he has a land in hand anyways because he didn't play land for a turn. I mean, sure, it's a temple. It would have entered tapped anyways. My reasoning why would you play Grazer so your land enters tapped if you can just play it for a turn? But he had a temple, so it didn't really matter. Speaking of temples, we draw our own temple, and I think I want another copy of Sailor just in case the first one gets dealt with. Alright, so opponent, what do you do? He's gonna start facing a huge army very soon. I mean, Ambusher takes care of games very quickly. He takes over very, very quickly. Yorion would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He still can't pay further dispute if he plays his Dorian, so I feel good about that. So my hope is he plays some kind of like Risen Reef kind of effect, and then plays his Dorian, and then he gets punished to the max. That's my hopes for like whatever happens. Feels good to counter. Feels good to counter an ultimatum with the dispute. Alright, so that's gonna be pretty much it for the deck, guys. If you did enjoy these games, please do consider subscribing because it helps the channel a lot. If you want to discuss anything with the deck, please do consider joining our Discord server. I'm always ready to help anyone. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.